Alright, so we're back and ready to continue our adventure in Trials of Fire. When we left off, we were heading towards the second part of the Watcher Gem quest. Now we need to head in this direction, and we have a town on the way, so let's start by heading to town. Here we have the option to hire a follower for 90 obsidian. I'm totally going to do that. Definitely not going to spend 2 food I don't have. Minus 50% cost to craft arcane items. I don't know if I'm ever going to craft an arcane item, but you know, I like collecting followers anyway, and gold is kind of useless, so unfortunately it seems I've already visited this location. So I think I'm going to go down to this question mark and try to head a little bit more west and hope there's some stuff I haven't visited further to the west. Here, this reward is just a little bit of obsidian. This reward might give me items. I don't feel like taking a health cost. I don't really care about items right now. I might be starving soon, so that's going to drain some of my health. And hopefully we can find some places we haven't been soon. I'm going to head over here. Oh man, we went really far west earlier. That's a little bit of a problem. Hopefully this run doesn't end from starvation. Oh, so that was really fortunate. I rested and got some free food from my follower. It's about time I got some free food from that follower. But very timely free food, as I was indeed about to starve. And now I am starving. I don't really want to take a question mark while tired, but I'll do it in case there's food. And there is food. And now you'll get to see what this game looks like when you're tired. When you're tired, the game is going to shuffle a few sort of fatigue cards into your deck. When you draw, you immediately discard them. It's actually a really painful penalty. You really don't want to fight while you're tired if you can help it. In fact, it might have been worth it to rest right before this combat just so I wasn't tired. This might be the most dangerous encounter we've done all game. We have 2 charred cultists. Charred cultists were actually a little bit buffed by the change to weaken, so it's very difficult to engage them in melee, and we don't have very many ways to engage them other than melee. So I'm very unhappy to see 2 charred cultists, and hopefully we can do some damage with Longshot or something. I'm pretty worried about this combat. But as always, we'll start with Selfless, since we drew it. Glass Lizard is nice. I keep calling it a wizard. I don't know why. My brain wants to do that. Hopefully we can take out at least one of these cultists as soon as possible. But this actually might be the end of the run, which is pretty disappointing. Let's try and make sure that does not happen. I think what I'm going to do is try to draw into a long shot on this character here, and try to draw into a power on this character here. So I'll start with the power. We got Goad. That's not the best, but it's okay. Wide Sweep is going to, I think, be important against the cultists since it's a high damage attack. So I might keep that one in the hand. Quick Thinking, I might as well play now. And I will go ahead and do a redraw right now for this character. Walk is tempting. It's a pretty efficient way to reposition and get willpower. but I think I just want to redraw again here. Okay, so here's our long shot and a summon. So I think what I'm going to do is play both of these cards. And the way I'm going to do that, first of all, I think I'm going to redraw for my Warlord as well. Lots of redraws turn 1, but I think turn 1 this fight is going to be very important. So we have Encourage, that'll add 1 more damage to Longshot. I'm not going to be playing these cards, or Advance. So we're going to hit this Cultist for 8, it's a very nice sum, half its health. And 1 more Intimidate left in the deck. Most of the defensive cards were drawn turn 1, which is very annoying. I might just have to be comfortable playing the Bone Wolf this turn and still discarding the Wide Sweep. I'm not sure if that's correct though. Another option is to play Defend and hold on to Intimidate and Wide Sweep to give me the opportunity to take out this Charred Cultist next turn if it decides to wander closer to me. So I think I might actually do that. So hold on to the Bone Wolf for next turn or discard it for Longshot. I think I'm going to discard the Bone Wolf in favor of Longshot. I don't think I'm going to be playing any summons for a little while this combat. So we're going to discard the Bone Wolf, just stay and block. I'm happy staying and blocking. I could also walk away 1 tile. Actually, yeah, I'm going to walk away 1 tile just to make me a little bit further from the Cultist. Unfortunately, if I knew I was going to do that, I should have done it at the beginning of the turn. But it's far too late now. No way to undo. Alright, I'm very happy with how some things turned out this turn. I can now take out this Charred Cultist with Wide Sweep while doing a lot of damage to this Charged Cultist. To do that, I believe, first of all, we need to Rally. So we don't need both Flares. I'll play Rally right now. Leadership plus Show the Way is going to get the warrior adjacent to the cultist here. So we will play Leadership, followed by Show the Way, moving away from the Charred Cultist, I think. And move my warrior into melee range. Intimidate is going to weaken these 2 Charred Cultists so that the Volatile won't deal damage back to my warrior. Reel In isn't going to be played. Well, Reel In could be played to bring the Charred Warrior in, but it won't do damage anyway, so I don't think I'm going to do so. So all we need to do now is... wait. First, I'll play the Flare. Then, I'll Wide Sweep. And now, a headshot would take care of this Charred Cultist, but I don't quite have enough willpower to do so. I'm trying to think if I... yeah, even if I had recycled Flare, I think there might have been a line that killed this Charred Cultist this turn. If I recycled Flare, did not play Leadership, recycled it instead, then I would have 1 for headshot. I would also have to recycle the Show the Way, so maybe not. Okay, I'm not sure. There might have been a way to kill this Charred Cultist. But even so, I'm feeling much, much better about how this fight is going to play out. Hopefully, not too much damage on their turn. Even if it does, I'll consider that totally acceptable, given what I consider to be the difficulty of this encounter. Okay, so headshot is ranged attack 3. Unfortunately, that's not quite enough to kill the Charred Cultist by itself. We drew Protector, so we might as well play it just to start. Intimidate is in our hand, so I feel pretty happy about playing Intimidate, reducing the damage of the Charred Warrior to 0. Charred Cultist is definitely dying this turn. The question is, however, what should my positioning be to play Intimidate? Walk, March might be played. March is pretty much free when you have leadership in play. So what it's looking like for me is I march here. I think March is always getting played, so I might as well play it. I march here. I hope this gives line of sight to the hunter, but if not, the hunter can still move a little bit. I march my warrior down here. Or I'm going to walk, yeah, I'll march my warrior here, and then walk here, so that I'm in range of Intimidate for all 3 enemies, and then play the Intimidate. Now, I play a swipe here. There's no damage from Volatile because of Weakened. Now we need to headshot the Cultist, which is lethal. We're not playing either of these cards, so we will headshot. And that takes care of the Cultist. And now we play block on these 2. And I think that basically should wrap up this combat. And hopefully we won't have any more food problems for the rest of this run. I think I did a little bit too much wandering in the early game. Got a little bit too excited. Pardon me. A little bit too excited by the stated buffs to the amount of food that is present in the game. Alright, not terribly happy about this card draw, so I think I'm going to redraw. Play this cheap battle stance, draw a card. I don't need defensive stance, so I'm going to recycle it and play alertness. Our warrior has 3 strength, so these 2 swipes do a lot more damage than they might look. One thing that I'm considering is bringing my hunter all the way up here, putting my warlord here, and swiping twice on this charred warrior to eliminate it from combat. So that involves show the way here. This hunter takes the free movement here and then moves here. When the hunter is here, it's hard for this charred warrior to get to it because of zone of control. It requires 2 tiles of movement to get to where the hunter is. So I think that's a fairly safe place for it to be, for him to be. Now I use my warrior to swipe twice. So swipe 1 does 7 damage, and then swipe 2 does another 7 damage. I defend, which defends on everybody. And Just going to hang on to actually the swipe for next turn, because I think swipe is just going to finish off this charge warrior. Goad gets played for free. Now I'm up to 4 strength. No attacks there. I still have 2 armor, so I'm good to play Selfless. We'll play Quick Thinking first, and then March. Because Selfless, again, it's going... Oh, it's not going to get rid of leadership, so might as well just play Selfless. Rally, show the way. Play... Okay, maybe I don't have the damage. I'm just going to go ahead and redraw. Find some swipes so that I can finish off this combat. I didn't even look at the cards my other characters had drawn. I just assumed we had enough damage to take him out. Turned out we didn't. Maybe if I played Bone Wolf before all the movement, but not needed. We get 3 much needed food. We're no longer starving. So that takes a lot of pressure off of us. We can level up. I think I'm just going to be leveling up the Warlord first, because Show the Way is just a card I want to play so much of. And here are 2 houses. I think I want to rest before I start these encounters. I'm going to walk to the woods, because in the woods, resting restores a little bit more stamina. And I'll go into these not tired, and here we go. We're replenishing our food. Not going to take a 50% chance of injury. That's just not something that's worth it right now. I will take a 12% chance of injury, just because there's also the chance of food. Unfortunately, I didn't get food. I just got health damage. This is a good place to rest. Hopefully we find food. We did. We did find food. That is very helpful. We have a wandering encounter. I will gladly take it, because it might have food. At this point, I am in food search mode. I'm also going to be heading towards the objective a little bit faster than I did in the first objective, because the second objective is going to have a lot of guaranteed food. And I think my eyes have been opened to running out of food being an actual way that this run might end. I have never lost a run due to lack of food, and don't really want to start now. Alright, so once again, we start with Selfless, we play Selfless. It's a little bit scary, since the Warlord is actually a little bit in danger of dying turn 1 by being pulled in by these hybrid slavers. So I definitely want to get a summon out, at the very least a body block. Stuff like, I forgot what the pull-in card is called, but blocking that is a priority. I also want to be able to block for the Hunter. The Hunter takes a lot more damage, especially from combo attacks, so protecting the Hunter is a bit of a priority. Rally is extra energy, so definitely playing probably both rallies this turn. Swipe isn't going to get played, so here we're playing Rally 1 and Rally 2. This gives us enough to... Well, Battle Stance, it's a power, so definitely playing that so that we get the card draw. And now we have some decisions to make. Do we want to redraw any of these hands? if we redraw with the warrior, I think what we're looking for is Protector plus block cards, but that is a little bit unlikely to draw together given the deck that I have so far with the warrior, so I'm not sure it's worth redrawing now. The problem with this hand is all of the cards are pretty much useless in this scenario. Intimidate, again, I only have one copy, so it's nice to hold on to, but that would be the main consideration against redrawing. For the hunter, the consideration is Bone Wolf is probably the weakest summon for me to get out right now, but Meditation is nice to play. The problem with playing Meditation is it makes our hunter into the top priority target, and the enemies are going to try really hard to take him out. If I show the way and try and put the hunter in the corner, I don't know. It's a little bit difficult to protect the hunter from lines of ranged attack from these hybrid slavers, unfortunately. Another consideration is to bring the warrior all the way up, kind of up here. With the warrior up here, it can block anything, right? And I can use the warrior's health pool pretty indiscriminately because 8 armor is quite a lot. And she doesn't have this vulnerability effect that the hunter has. I really wish I could tell exactly what tiles are safe from range attacks for the hunter. So I think I'm going to go for this warrior body blocking plan. We're going to open with Meditation. We're not playing Swipe, but we are playing Bone Wolf. Show the Way is going to help get the warrior into position, but perhaps I will play a Bone Wolf first. Playing it here should make it very difficult to hit the hunter behind it. So Show the Way. How about here? Maybe leave the wolf where it is right now and put the warrior right here in a position to block stuff. So in order to get that done, we're going to, I think, so the options are Recycle, Defend, and hold on to Intimidate, or hold on to Intimidate and just not have any block. I think that is actually the line I prefer. So we're holding on to Intimidate. I'm going to hold on to Encourage as well. You know, I don't think this is going to be a fight where I play Encourage early, so I am going to... I am going to recycle the Encourage. So we're hoping for a kind turn from our opponents. Blocking is fine, defensive stance is fine. None of these things are attacking me. Reel in was completely expected. Now they surround me and attack me. That was also expected. I don't lose battle stance? Okay. That was pretty good. Pretty good. Goad is a power, and it's very good here. With Show the Way, don't think we can kill anything with these hands. Long Shot maybe not happening. Glass Lizard maybe is happening. I'm not very happy about this hand here. Even with 4 damage, there's no way to hit these guys, so it's a little bit wasted, right? It makes me want to head rush. I'm so unhappy they forced me to discard my Intimidate, so holding on to it didn't do anything. And Intimidate would be so nice to have right now. I'm really strongly considering just redrawing here. Wide Sweep. Okay, that is interesting. Wide Sweep deals 9 damage to all adjacent enemies. Now I can definitely do some work on these opponents. We're going to start with Show the Way, I think. It's not really much of a waste to do it before I play this Glass Lizard. Oh yeah, this... Another hidden thing, this wolf has 3 movement. All the other summons have 2 movement. It doesn't say it anywhere, but it's definitely a little bit of an advantage to the Bone Wolf, and it comes in handy a few times for sure. We're going to recycle this long shot to move here so that I can play the Glass Lizard right here before I play the second Show the Way. We recycle this, play the Glass Lizard, and now we can Show the Way again. She has a block, so I'll Show the Way to move right here. I can take some of the aggro from this Hybrid Brute. Don't really want him hitting the Hunter. Oh, wait. Okay, I might have miscalculated a bit. I really need to play Wide Sweep now, so... This is a case of me thinking I had way more willpower than I did. But this guy needs to die, so I will make that guy die. And I guess the Warlord is staying here without block. That should be fine. It takes 2 movements for the Hybrid Brute to get to her anyway, so I'm not very concerned about that. He wasted his turn playing Battle Stance. I say waste. It's a pretty good use of the turn. Another swipe. Goad is still on. Alright, incredibly enough, I don't think the warrior took any actual damage. All of that damage was to armor. So we're still in great shape with regards to that. I want to redraw into Protector here. I like Protector a little bit more than Intimidate, though Intimidate is a strong consideration. Our priorities this turn are to remove Battle Stance. Okay, removing Battle Stance is not possible because it's the 3rd power. It's protected by Defensive Stance and Prepare, both of which are going to go down first. So we're going to leave the Hybrid Brute for last and do some definitely going to do some summoning shenanigans to get rid of him. One of those shenanigans we can do right now is spawning a 3rd summon. I'm really happy to get one more into play here. You notice that this one costs 5. I'm not sure I mentioned yet, but every time you play a summon card, it increases every other subsequent summon by 1. So it's easy to have a huge army of summons at your back. Though it's still profitable to have a huge army of summons at your back, for sure. Alright, so Show the Way. Oh, first of all, I think I'm just going to draw into Protector here. It's the last card, and it comes with Reel In, unfortunately. That is not the card I wanted to see. What I did want was a block, so playing block is going to give 2 defense to everything, including my summons, and I think that's going to hopefully go a long way to making this next turn palatable. And going to go ahead and start with a Show the Way. Use this to, let me calculate just a bit. We've got 3 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. So no matter which attack I do, this is 4 plus 1 plus 1. I'm not going to kill this hybrid slaver in 1 attack, so it's going to take 2 attacks, unfortunately. I'll just do it with the Bone Wolf. And one thing I was deciding was whether to play Clash on this hybrid brute right here. And in order to play Clash, I'll have to sacrifice this Defend and this Reel In, and I think I'm going to do it. So Clash is going to deal at least some damage to this hybrid brute, because I'm not worried about this hybrid slaver dying. It's definitely going to get taken out by this huge mass of summons that we have. So I might as well just play block now and Show the Way now. I'm going to retreat all the way back here. Very difficult for this brute to get to this warlord, so I'm not too worried there. I think it's possible with movement plus charge might be in the deck, so if I do take some damage, I don't think the warlord will die, but hopefully not. I might still get the chance to reposition some summons to really block off that avenue. So we're going to make the second attack with our Bone Wolf. Move these lizards into position. So now, Lizard 1. So you see the Bone Wolf does 1 extra combo attack damage. Second lizard attack here. We attack with this lizard. And okay, so we are out of movement from the summons. And that summon isn't body blocking anymore. Okay, I might have miscalculated a little bit. I suppose what I'll do instead is move my warrior here, so my warrior is going to body block instead. Hopefully I don't take too much damage. Lunge is not what I wanted to see. Swipe, and that's the turn. Could have been worse. Oh, he also moved away. That was very smart. Alertness is perfect. What I'm going to do is make sure that I kill this hybrid brute this turn. I do not want one more turn from this hybrid brute. So alertness draws 2 cards. Quick thinking is great. March is our first March effect. We're going to be using our redraws to make sure we get as many March effects as we can. So here's another quick thinking. And we will start marching our forces towards this hybrid brute. So here is a Show the Way. And we redraw. And one more Show the Way. And from here, we can start doing some attacks. And that's the fight. Could have even flared, but I knew it wasn't necessary. Food. Sweet food. Wood. Best crafting resource in my opinion. And this level up, once again, we don't have an option to take a bulwark. We don't have the option to take a bulwark. Instead, some nice options include tackle. Challenging stride is a consideration, but I don't think I want that many cards that aren't defensive on my warrior here. So I think Tackle is definitely the choice that is going to end up being made. Maybe defensive movement, but activating a character is not that good when you don't have synergy with moving a lot on your character, which I don't really. So 2 is a lot to pay for that effect. Counter-Strike is it seems free, melee attack 4, then draw a card, but being the target of a melee attack last turn is not as consistent as I would like it to be. So this card is actually quite balanced, and it would end up being recycled a lot, but still maybe better than a swipe, probably not. I'm actually not getting attacked that often. Tackle, so Tackle is going to replace a swipe then. Swipe is starting to get less useful in this deck, because our summons are doing a majority of the damage. I kind of want to defend still, because I still want some of these defensive cards to be able to block with Protector. We walk to the next event. Okay. A side quest, which is in the direction of our objective, might as well. Alright, 50% reward contains a legendary item. This is the Kirsch Blade. It says +2 combo attack damage, all melee and ranged attack cards cost double willpower to use. It is a really good upside and a really painful downside. It comes with stock, which says your combo attacks deal +2 damage if you are not adjacent to any friendly characters. And what I'm doing in my fights is a lot of combo attacking. The problem here is I don't want the downside of melee and ranged attack cards costing double willpower to use at the moment for any of my characters, I think. The most acceptable, I believe, would be the Warlord. So if I wanted to put this item on somebody, I would put it on the Warlord. The thing about putting it on the Warlord is I add all of these cards that I'd rather just draw a Show the Way. I'm not sure. The nice thing about the Warlord is I only have one swipe left in the deck. That's the only card that would cost double willpower to use. Obviously I would unequip the Bone Hammer, which is giving me Clash. I don't really... Okay. I was worried that I had forfeited the reward, but I did take all the rewards there. Yeah, I might end up using this on the Warlord. After further consideration, it might be a good option. You know, I never noticed... oh yeah, we just got the robe. The robe is just an upgrade to the leather rags, so there's no harm in equipping that. And I forgot that this event has more to do. So you can explore the boulder that represents the heart, and you can also explore the boulder representing the left talon. So I might as well do both then. This is the Magic Stimulant. It gives you Crazed and Rage. Both of these are pretty interesting cards. Crazed is a +0 to 2 damage buff. It's not something that I want to be using on anybody. And Rage says draw 3 cards. You may not draw any cards for the remainder of this turn. Definitely... Okay, so first of all, this is only for the character that plays Rage. This card would be completely unplayable if... Since it says this includes drawing at the end of your turn, imagine if one of your characters drew 3 cards, and then none of your characters could draw 3 at the end of their turn. That would be way too big of a trade-off. But no, this is only for the current character. So this is 3 cards now, minus up to 3 cards later, essentially. Still not something that I want to be using. Acidic Potion has Acid Flask. It's range attack 2, inflict acid 2 on the target. Acid is like poison, if you're familiar with Slay the Spire, but it's worse because it only happens at the end of the enemy turn. So acid cards are generally pretty hard to use. Early on, they can be pretty efficient damage options, especially when you're bursting down a little bit slower. But by late game, you really need a very specialized build to take advantage of acid. And Acid Flask is not one of the cards I think you want to be using with acid anyway. But I'll take the items. Why not? And now we have nothing left to do, so we're going to leave. Go a little bit left, go around these woods. Going around the woods saves me a bit of food, I believe, since it's a little bit slower to walk through the woods. We have an encounter, but he's running away from me. And I kind of wanted to make it here before I was tired. So this is our next objective. We're going to have our second big fight right here. And I'm just going to go straight in because I don't see anything around. I might finish the side quest after I do this fight. But we're going to go into the second boss battle right now. And for this battle, I believe I will equip the Kirsch Blade. And setup, also a nice card. It synergizes well with this blade, because this blade is all about combo attacks and exposed. We saw with Flare and the Hunter. Synergizes very well with combo attacks. Stock, unfortunately, is a card that's much better in the early game. Stock deals so much damage early game. It's very nice to have, but at this point in the game, I think we're surrounding people a little bit more, doing a little bit less, having people not be adjacent. The nice thing is, with all the mobility the Warlord has, it's also pretty easy to have her not be adjacent to anybody, so I'm not terribly worried. We also have a Bone Helm that I guess never got equipped, so I'm going to be happy to put that on my Warlord. And let me think if there's anything else I want to do here. So this is going to be the second guaranteed combat encounter. It is a boss battle. It is a fixed boss battle, so it's always the same. I know exactly what to expect. And I'm pretty happy with the equipment I have, except I don't want Chain Spear. Chain Spear is just going to get in the way for this battle. So basically, we need to use the Scry Pool to charge up the Water Gem, but the elves don't want you to use up the rest of the power of their Scry Pool, since, you know, it's useful for them. But you're like, whatever, I need it more, and you're gonna fight them over it. As I said, you're good guys in this game, obviously. Okay, so get rid of one of these Intimidates to play Alertness. And we already have a hand with a lot of Show the Ways. I'm thinking I kind of want to get one of these out, maybe. So I might dig for the Rally in this deck. But first, before I dig for the Rally, perhaps I will get Leadership into play. Leadership is a pretty important card. And now I'll dig. Here's the Rally. Not exactly what I wanted to draw it with, so maybe not playing Intimidate. Discard the Advanced. Now we play Rally. And we're going to go for Prepare and Encourage. Discard the defensive stance and hang on to Meditation. So this is a first turn where I didn't end up actually playing any summons, but I just got a whole bunch of powers into play. part of the reason I did this is we only have one boss enemy. It's the Necromancer. So you can see his special ability is Soul Conduit. Gains +1 magic damage for every summoned character, and all summons cost -1 willpower. So he's going to summon a bunch, and then cast some spells to deal damage once he's got summoned guys out. Pretty straightforward, but also pretty easy to deal with just by killing all the summons that he makes as he summons them. So we're going to see if he decides to do any damage to us this turn. He almost always plays a summon turn 1. He is Summoner. All of your summons have +1 action each turn. It's a pretty good power. It's only available to the player on one specific card, so it's pretty likely we're not going to see it ourselves. But definitely nice to have. Okay, so I think Meditation maybe I should not have kept. We are not playing it this turn. Instead, we're going to get a summon out and use it to start beating down the enemy summons. This is not a hand I want. Again, I'm going to use redraws to get to my powers. Protector, exactly what I wanted to see. Head Rush and Bulwark, exactly what I wanted to see. Okay. I will use the swipe to move my hunter so I can play the summon right next to the enemies here. So Bone Wolf getting played before I start marching. So now March is going to get people in range. And you see I have 2 additional combo attack damage, so the 3 damage plus the wolf, plus the combo from the warlord is going to take care of this husk immediately. So already the legendary item proving to be pretty useful. And here you can see the 2 damage buff. Summoner, it's a scary power. If you let their summons have turn, well, a little bit scary. It's actually not too bad. This is Mad Soul and Husk. I should talk about the summons that he's played. So Husk has 6 health, basic attack 2. It's basically the vanilla summon. It only costs 2 to play. The reason it says it costs 3 is for some reason it costs it accounts my summon bonus cost into the cost of these enemy cards when I hover over them. Makes sense that it does that. But basic attack 2, melee attack 2, that's all it does. But if you compare it to the wolf has 5 hit points, it costs 1 more, it has 1 more movement, and it has this like combo attack synergy, which is usually a little bit more damage. But costing 1 more is a pretty big deal. I think often I actually prefer the Husk to the Wolf. And then the second summon here is the Mad Soul. So Mad Soul costs 3. It has only 4 health, basic action, range attack 2. This summon is terrible. First of all, range attack 2, you would much rather have melee attack 2. Melee attack triggers combo attacks. It just generally does more damage, it's more useful. Attacking from range can even be limiting sometimes, since you can't attack something next to you. This summon actually can't hit anything on my team right now. Mad Soul, only 4 HP. It tends to die instantly if you play it somewhere not safe. Of course, you're supposed to play it like kind of out of the way, and then you're supposed to use stuff like leadership to get some more benefit out of the range attack, I think. So it can work. It's not that bad. It kind of saved me against cultists with their like deal 2 damage to everything adjacent before. So maybe I'm a little bit too harsh on it, but it's definitely not a summon I want to be using this game. neither of these are class summons. These are two summons that you get from items. So there's an item that has actually both the husk and the mad soul. It's actually worse than the lower tier item that only has the husk, usually. So, those are my thoughts on the other summons in the game. And so for now, I think I'm going to use my first movement to just move the warrior further away so that Head Rush gets the full 4 block. So with Protector, this is going to give 2 block to everybody else on my team. With that, I should be... well, plus I'm going to play Bulwark here, so might as well do that now. Alright, and then, as I said, this attack plus the combo attack will take care of the husk. I'll use Show the Way to get in next to the other summon, and then the wolf will finish off. Okay, turns out that's not where I want to be, because then I can't do a combo attack. Actually, no, that is where I want to be, because then I can move my warrior here, and the combo attack still kills the Mad Soul. And now we can play Goad, just more damage on my warrior. Another power. Oh, okay, I'm not going to play Goad, I'm going to hold on to it so I have a power to play next turn. Gotta keep that item into account. And I'll bring the Hunter in a little bit. Might as well play my last card. And that's the turn. As you can see, Summoner got no value. And now he plays some more summons, replaces them, runs away. This is pretty much what the Summoner does. We're going to be doing similar stuff to what the Summoner does, summoning and giving them extra actions, but we're just doing it so much better than the Summoner. It's not fair. So, the Goad that I held on to, Rally, might as well. Unfortunately, we've got a pretty bad hand here. I'm thinking of just redrawing the whole thing so that we can really go off and honestly finish this fight a little bit further than we otherwise would. Okay, so Show the Way. I'm going to first go here, because we're going to take out this Mad Soul along the way. Oh, okay. I'm not going to put my Warlord adjacent to the Necromancer for now, because I think what I'm going to be doing is wide sweeping on the Necromancer this turn. So Tackle is going to inflict Intimidate, so the Necromancer is definitely not going to do damage. Since the Hunter is like the only one kind of in range here, the Hunter is going to be like, I have so much energy this turn, I might as well use it to do some damage. So here we're going to see Show the Way is going to get the damage buff in range of the Hunter, and then I'm going to Flare the Necromancer, so Necromancer takes more damage. And now we have Long Shot for 8, Headshot for 4, we're going to come in with the Bone Wolf. Unfortunately, still I can't use the combo attacks in response to range attacks idea. I think maybe I could have done it by moving. I don't think there's a way to get the Bone Wolf up here instead. I'm not going to worry about it too much. Wide Sweep is going to do 10 plus 3, and now the Necromancer is already basically half dead. So, doing pretty well this fight here. And now, we're going to just Intimidate to put another 2 stacks of Weakened on the Necromancer. So, Weakened for a long time. And I'll put the Hunter just here, why not? Alright. Well, there's no powers left in the Warriors deck, I think. So we're going to just need to pay the tax from now on. But the nice thing about the legendary item that gives you discounts on powers is it gives you the discount when you need it in the beginning of the game, and you pay for it at the end of the combat when it's not really important anymore. So pretty happy with paying that price. Not a big deal. Glass Lizard. I'm going to be playing another summon this turn. But first, might as well play Selfless. It takes off leadership, so maybe first wasn't the right idea. I remember it most combats, don't always remember it, I guess. So we got 1 Glass Lizard in play. That Glass Lizard is going to help take out this Husk. And how are we going to deal with this Husk? I believe we're going to just attack it with the Warrior. And so this Glass Lizard and this Defend are not getting played. We will March. Should have done March and show the way before leadership was gone. Definitely a misplay on my part there. I'm going to walk into combo attack range, not that it matters since... Alright, I'm going to walk into this range, just so I'm in range of everybody, because I really don't need a combo attack on this Husk with all the strength that my Warrior has. I will recycle all of these again. Use my melee attack here. And I believe... Oh, okay. I'll just get rid of this guy for, straight away. And I think the option that I'll go for is Bulwark. Give everybody else defense. Recycle Block and Shield Bash. It's kind of like Body Slam and Slay the Spire. Deals damage equal to your current defense. So it deals 12 damage. How could I pass that up? And now we've got 3 attacks from the Wolf. And the Necromancer is still weakened for 2. This fight is totally over. Even Call Lightning doing 0 damage because he's weakened. And that's gonna end up being it. I don't know. I'm not really paying too much attention to what I do here. I might as well just do it this way. And that's the Necromancer fight. This fight is, I think, generally considered to be the easiest boss fight in the game. Necromancer was even buffed, I think 2 patches ago. One of its cards got a little bit better. But even with that buff, Necromancer is... It didn't really help the Necromancer at all. That card didn't play it at all this combat, I believe, it says gain 3 defense per summon you have out. So if he has 3 summons, he gains 9 defense. Used to be 2 defense per summon. 3 is a pretty sizable buff. But the problem is you just kill all his summons, so it doesn't really give him meaningful defense anyway. It doesn't meaningfully help the summoner win the fight. And so for a reward, we have a new legendary item, Dragon Scale Shield. It looks like its ability says whenever you defend, gain half defense, all melee attacks deal bonus damage equal to your defense. Huh. I think this is a very interesting item, but unfortunately I don't think it's an item that synergizes with anything I want to do. It looks very powerful. So it's kind of like having a permanent shield bash on every attack you play. Like everything you play is turned into a shield bash, but it's much harder to gain defense. So blocks only defend for 2 now, but that gives you 2 extra damage. And that's a lot of extra damage. So this is a very interesting item. It's very powerful, very playable. Might be my favorite design of a legendary item in the game. But it's not enough to make me want to drop what I want to do with my warrior and my warlord this game, and it's definitely not something that I think is going to be played on my hunter either. So unfortunately, very interesting card, very interesting item, probably not getting played. We've got crafting materials, leather bracers, move 1, then draw a card. They're alright. They're basically only +1 armor. Quick Step doesn't really do anything, except in very specific situations. And then it does a lot, but Quick Step, definitely less useful than move, I think. The other bracers I have give move, or walk, sorry, give walk. So walk says move 2, then the next card you play costs -2 willpower. I think that is just better than Quick Step on all my characters right now. And finally we have a Soul Gem. A Soul Gem used to do nothing but look pretty, but just recently they added the ability to use it to attune an item to your character. And we are going to do this shortly, and you're going to see what attuning does. It's very powerful. First, we're going to level up. Once again, we have a lot of cards that I don't really want on the hunter. But I think at this point my philosophy is having more summons isn't too bad. If I don't play them, I don't play them. So might as well replace this advance with a Bone Wolf. Level up the Warlord again. I see another Show the Way. I'm going to take another Show the Way. So now my Warlord's entire deck is Leadership, which gives me 1 willpower every time I play Show the Way, and Courage, which gives everybody on my team +1 damage, and then March, which is basically strictly worth Show the Way. It does have the advantage of not needing to move to use it, but that's a pretty niche advantage. So yeah, all of these are basically move 3, activate all friendly characters, gain 1 willpower once I have Leadership in play. So this is kind of what I want the Warlord deck to look like, and I'm probably going to just replace the March and then keep it exactly as it is. And then finally, let's see if we can get a little bit better. Oh, actually, no, never mind. I'm going to go for the Warrior after all. The reason I went for the Warrior is I still want a little bit more defense for the Warrior here. Protect says swap places with any friendly character, then defend 2 per adjacent enemy. So it is a defense card. I've just generally found this card to be too awkward to use. It's costs 1. You need a different ally that's adjacent to a bunch of enemies, which we have a lot of movement. We can engineer that situation. And even then, it still gives like less health than Bulwark. The trade-off is that like you can save an ally by getting them out of harm's way, but honestly, I don't expect allies to be in harm's way very often to begin with. So this is a little bit disappointing of a level up. No Intimidate, no Bulwark. We're going to be taking a tackle. For this tackle, I think I'm going to... Actually, you know, I don't even want a tackle more than any of these cards. That's the sad thing. But I guess I'll replace a swipe after all. I suppose I want it a little bit more than a swipe. So here, again, we get food supplies. Very welcome. We get 3 healing supplies. So the maximum number of healing supplies you can carry is 5. So now I might as well use one of my healing herbs to heal one of my allies. Shana has the lowest health, so I will give it to my warlord. One of the annoying things about this game is you can't drag the healing supplies from here onto the warlord. It just doesn't work. It does like this instead. Instead you have to drag the healing herbs from here onto the warlord. I kind of wish that were changed, but maybe just a minor annoyance. Finally, we have Living Chain. It's the same as the Chain Spear, except it also has this power Seethe. Whenever you take 1 or more damage, draw a card. Definitely an interesting power. As long as you take some damage, you're guaranteed to get some cards back. It's power, so there's that. There's some things that are nice about having powers. It has 6 toughness, so it's very good at protecting other powers. Definitely has its uses, but it's also a little bit low impact, in my opinion. Unless you do stuff to like directly synergize with it. Kind of nice with Selfless. Selfless lets you take 1 damage, take 2 damage by playing one of your cards. Otherwise, all the other cards that really help you draw cards in this game are all the other cards that make you take damage in this game are basically injuries that you want to get out of your deck. So there's not too much of a self-damage theme in this game right now. And that's the second leg of the journey. We've recharged the water gem. Now we just need to deliver it back to our hometown, which is always back where we started. And I think we've hit a lot of the stuff in between where we started and here. So what I do want to do is go north a little bit and hit some of the events further north on the way back to our starting location. The first thing I'm going to do is attune an item at this campfire. You know, I said I don't usually craft much. I feel like I'm a little bit lower on items than I usually am. I feel a little bit under-equipped for this point in the game. So I might actually be buying and crafting some items a lot more than I usually do. Try and get some nice items that fit this endgame build. So attuning an item lets you permanently improve one of your character's class decks by replacing a card from any item you have with that class card. It's a very interesting option, and interestingly, I'm going to do it to the Warlord. So the Warlord, what I'm going for with the Warlord is basically playing Show the Way as much as I can. That's basically all I'm doing with the Warlord. And so the cards that I want in my deck want to encourage that to happen as much as possible. And so the best possible card to be able to play more copies of Show the Way in a turn comes from Dwarven Lantern. That card is Alertness. It costs 1, draw 2 cards. I want Alertness in my base deck. I would replace as many cards with Alertness as I had attunement gems or soul gems, and I think that would just make the deck better and better and better. So I'm pretty happy with resting to attune Alertness into my Warlord's deck. And so we are going to confirm that this is what we want to do. And now Alertness is permanently part of the class deck. I should notice that attunement, usually you only get 1 or 2 soul gems in the course of a run. It's a very limited resource. I believe there's a guaranteed soul gem from that summoner boss that we just faced. So it's definitely not something you can do to, say, replace your entire deck with Alertness. It is a little bit of a dangerous mechanic to have in this game, because it's definitely a path to infinite combos. So if you think about cards like Quick Thinking, draw a card, the next card you play costs -1 willpower. This is the sort of card that just enables infinite combos. So if you can, say, replace your entire class deck with like Quick Thinking plus Alertness, maybe a couple of copies of willpower, and then whatever else you want to do, that is just an infinite combo. And that is, this game has an endless mode. That's one way you can make sure you never lose an endless run. Just make sure you have a turn 1 infinite combo, win every combat turn 1, and just go until you get bored, because you're probably going to get bored doing the same exact thing every combat. Anyway. So, hopefully you'll get to see these changes in action soon. Let's go for this question mark that I see hanging out on the left side of my screen. Alright, I'm definitely going to be digging up the graves. This can actually give me a second soul gem, which is what I want to see. It also can give a helmet, which is not what I want to see, but is okay. I will probably be using this helmet on Shauna, so definitely not unhappy to see this helmet, and I'm going to talk about it a little bit more. Okay. I am concerned that this is the Shaman Fight. I talked about a Shaman Fight in the game. There's one event that makes you fight a Shaman. A Shaman is, in my opinion, the hardest to lead in the game. It is especially good against the strategy I'm running, and I don't really want to show it off to you because it's such a dangerous enemy. And I've seen the event that makes you fight a Shaman have 2 Shamans in it, and we're so late into the run that I think it'll probably have at least 2 Shamans in it, and 2 Shamans is really scary. What Shamans do, their theme is like chilled. There's not very many player cards that have chilled. There's only one that I know of. More might have been added recently. Chilled makes all of your characters have -1 movement and -1 to all damage. So if you think about our summons, we really need to move them into position, and they only have 2 base movement, -1, that becomes 1, except for the wolf, I guess. So it makes it very hard to move your summons around and get them to where they need to be. And then on top of that, they have a card that allows them to hit everybody on your team with chilled. So it's an area of effect chilled attack. And then they can increase their own damage, so then that increases the area of effect. So with 2 Shamans, what often happens is you end up basically having everybody on your team just permanently chilled. They kill your summons quickly because they have all this area of effect damage. It's not a fight that I really want to be facing right now. Maybe if I do another playthrough, I can show it to you using a different strategy that's less countered by a shaman, but I don't feel like risking it 7 hours into the run. Alright, so here's the Burn Mystic Tome. Burn Mystic Tome is one of those items that has a husk. So this is summon in an item. This is one of the best items in the game to get early, I think, because a husk is just so nice to have. Like, it's not about the basic attack, it's about having another health pool of 6, and it's about being able to add to all of your combo attacks. Melee attack 2, it's not 2 damage a turn. It's just not. Anyway, I'll be taking that. This is an Iron Claymore. It's a quote-unquote upgrade of... oh, I already have one. I don't know when I got that. It's an upgrade of the weapon I'm using on my Warlord that just has wide sweep, except it's not really an upgrade because Fearsome Shout is not a good card, in my opinion. It says all enemies within Rage 2 are inflicted with Expose and discard a card. Discarding a card is great. Inflicting Expose is great. These are all things I want to do. Maybe it's better than I gave it credit for. The biggest problem is it costs 2 willpower. And making everybody discard a card is not going to prevent you from taking a lot of damage. So it needs to be combined with defense. So then you're spending willpower on defense and willpower on Fearsome Shout. But then if you're spending willpower on defense and willpower on Fearsome Shout, you're not attacking them. So you really have to give up the defense or the Fearsome Shout. But if all my summons are doing the attacking, maybe I can afford to actually spend the willpower on Fearsome Shout instead. So I guess it's an interesting card. We'll see if I decide to use it later. I might as well replace one of my cheaper items with it. My inventory is full, so I need to find a shop to sell some of this stuff. This only sells for 5, so pretty good to leave behind if I need to. There's also some bugs that happen if you have a full inventory, so maybe I can demonstrate. Oh, shoot. Okay, so this is getting me worried. We have a body of water here, and then we have mountains. So it might be very difficult to get back to my starting town if all of this water and mountains are in the way. I find this very worrying. So much so that I'm going to forget about that quest, rest, and then just head straight that way back to town a little bit. I think I don't have a ton of food. If I had like 10 food, I would sure go for it. Finish more quests, increase my score, why not? But nope, don't have that much food. I'm going to hone some equipment instead. So honing equipment I haven't done yet, but it's something that you basically often end up doing later in the game. It allows you to take one of your pieces of equipment that's not legendary and remove one of the action cards from it. I have no idea what's up with this head rush. This head rush seems like bugged out. But I want to wear this Dwarven helm on my warrior because I kind of want aggression. Aggression says after you move, deal 1 melee damage to all adjacent enemies. This does not trigger combo strikes. What I'm doing is a lot of moving around, and 1 melee damage isn't much, but when you have like 6 strength, which I seem to have 6 strength, it's a lot more melee damage. So we're going to remove Perfect Aim. Perfect Aim is a decent card, but not something that I'm looking to use all that often. And it's basically another attack card that's hard to use. Obviously very good with like wide sweep, but a little bit too conditional for my taste to have in my deck right now. And so we're going to confirm that we want to hone away the perfect aim from this Dwarven Helm. So that's what we're going to do, and we got some free food. Glad our foraging is finally starting to pay off. And we're going to equip this Dwarven Helm. And you can see we're now at 4 powers, which is nice because we have a bonus for playing a power. There's no willpower reduction since aggression already costs 0, but still get the drawing a card benefit. Another thing I think I'm going to do is go to my Hunter and equip the Burned Mystic Tome just to give him 1 more summon, and it's a cheap one and it's pretty useful. So I'm happy to do so. And as for all of the rest of the cards in my inventory, or items in my inventory, I don't think that I'm going to be using them just now. Again, this Dragon Scale Shield is such a cool item. Notice that the Hunter can't equip a helmet. Every character has 6 item slots, but they're not always the same item slots. They always have some sort of body armor slot, 2 like weapon slots, and at least 1 like tool slot. But whether they have like hand slots or more tool slots or head slots is dependent on the character. And like this has benefits and weaknesses. For example, a Dwarven Lantern only goes into the tool slot, and the Dwarven Lantern is one of the best items in the game. You kind of want to have as many Dwarven Lanterns as you can get. So, yeah. Now that we've rested, found some food, going to ignore the side quest and just head back to town. We'll find some ratlings on the way. Hopefully they've got some food. Definitely not giving them a goodwill payment. Alright, so you can see we're getting later into the game. We're up to 6 enemies in this encounter. So definitely facing a lot of enemies at one time. We're in this like weird... I don't even know what this environment would be called. It's like bubbly... I feel kind of like... I get kind of a dragon vibe. I don't know why. It's definitely a cool environment. One of my favorite environments to fight in. It does have, I think, a little bit of a bug that the terrain can overlap the characters in weird ways. So I think maybe that's something they could fix. Like, what is this rock doing sort of poking through the Ratling Guard? I don't know. But hopefully we will get to show off the effects of a lot of the changes we just made to our decks. So I'm going to do Selfless before Leadership. No. Leadership, then Selfless. Of course, the difference is if I play Leadership first, Selfless takes 2 damage off of Leadership, so the next time I play Selfless, Leadership goes away. So I think I'm going to play Selfless first. I think I've got so much willpower in my hands that it's not necessary to just play Leadership right away. Not a huge fan of the hand I have here, but also there's not too much that the warrior is going to usually end up doing turn 1, so not a big deal. I can use these as fodder for recycling, basically. So we're definitely playing Leadership and Stock this turn. And I think what I want to do is play out these Husks and Bone Wolves, so we have 2 summons on our side by the time our second turn starts. And then we can start doing ridiculous stuff to give them a million actions next turn. So I'm going to discard Shield Bash and Tackle for sure. Play Rally. Play another Rally. Now we can play both the Bone Wolf and the Husk. I'll play them here and here. This guy, again, has the movement card that lets him go through units, so there's no way I'm stopping him from getting up to my Hunter if he really wants to. But then, he's going to die next turn anyway, so I'm not too worried about damage to my Hunter right now. As for my Warrior, I think I'll keep Wide Sweep in hand, and just end turn like this. Okay, I was hoping that I would draw one of my 3 powers. Looks like it was not meant to be. But this turn, some of them are going to run away, because apparently the AI likes to do that. The rest of them are going to come forward, and we'll just see how many Ratlings we can take out in one turn. Okay, well, we might lose that Ratling. Nope, okay. So we managed to start our turn with both of our summons still alive. There's a lot of enemies around, but the goal is there's about to be a lot fewer enemies around, so here we go. Unfortunately, I don't think this is a workable hand. We still have an Intimidate left in the deck. Maybe we'll get to play it. There we go. Okay, Battle Stance. Definitely something I was looking for. Head Rush is great. I believe... oh dear. We got some Discord notifications. Let me... deal with that. I'm very sorry. Alright. So now, I believe we use meditation. I believe we recycle meditation, Glass Lizard, Swipe. Not going to play any of these. What I want to do is start to show you how this deck goes off with redraws, alertness, show the way, rally, thinking. Hopefully we can make this about as ridiculous as I am hoping for it to be. So, but I do want to play Encourage here. I'm trying to think about whether I'm going to end up playing Meditation. After more reflection, I think I might end up playing Meditation, so we're just going to not recycle it for now, play Encourage, redraw. Oh shit, that was a bad redraw. Okay, this is better. So now we show the way. I'm gonna go up here. Notice I have stock, so I do 4 additional combo strike damage right now. This Rattling Guard is then going to get taken care of very quickly. That gives us energy to play Alertness, so we can play Quick Thinking, draw a card, and show the way. Again, maybe we'll leave it at this, this many show the ways for this turn. And... ooh, that's a little bit of a dangerous location, though. So, instead... I think I'm not playing Bulwark this turn. It doesn't really make any sense to play Bulwark. So we can play Rally. Oh, but we do need a little bit of combo strike damage there. So I think I'm going to actually show the way away. So the Bone Wolf doesn't kill the Rattling Guard here, but I'm going to move in the Warrior to adjacent to the Rattling Guard. Using Head Rush, I think. So I'm going to use one movement away, then Head Rush in. Oh, wait. Okay, so I'm realizing the problem is I'm not going to be able to play Meditation and Intimidate. So instead of Head Rushing in, I'm just going to make this combo attack happen. And now, this wolf is not adjacent to anybody, so he can now do combo attacks on the Rattling Killer. And we can do one more attack here. Unfortunately, I can't move my warrior closer to everything, so maybe the warrior was supposed to come down around here. I'm not entirely sure. But at least we get to play Meditate, we get to play Intimidate, so these guys won't really do much damage next turn. And we'll get rid of Head Rush. The most dangerous person here, I think, is this Rattling Guard. But this guy can also stalk over to Hunter and try and take out Meditation. Rattling Guard ended up just running away. Obviously, I'm okay with that. Alright, good turn, good turn. Protector. Definitely a card I would rather have him play earlier than this turn. Would have been a lot less scary if I'd been able to protect her before. But actually what I'm going to do here is I'm going to redraw these cards and play Aggression. After you move, deal 5 melee damage to all adjacent enemies. Imagine if that triggered combo strikes. So you're about to see the power of Aggression. First thing we're going to do is flare all of these enemies. Definitely going to play Alertness. And we'll see if we can defeat all remaining enemies in one turn. Here we go. So walk. We're going to show the way. Walk here. Now, this husk attacks, destroying this guy. We set up... Ooh, we don't really want to do that. We're just going to play Show the Way. And I guess you'll see what this does. So use this Show the Way to move here and move here. This is going to attack with Aggression. This attack is going to kill. Alright, now we redraw. We've got Show the Way and Selfless, so we play both these cards. Show the Way up here. let's just try and go all out for a turn, kill this turn, see if we can do it. We got show the way up here, and finally show the way all the way to the enemy. And now we can do some movement with our warrior. And in fact, both of these cards can turn into attack cards. And we don't even need our summons to mosey on up. So that's aggression plus show the way, plus damage plus warrior. That's one of the crazy things you can do late game in the late game here. So here, I think I'll just show you one of the bugs in this game. So if your inventory is full, you can no longer take food. The only way to take food supplies is to drag your item onto the food to replace it. But if you do that, it gives you food and it copies the item. So this is actually an item duplication glitch. I'm not going to abuse it because there's no need to, really. I'm just going to leave this extra created bone helm behind. But that's one of the bugs that hopefully they can fix eventually. And we're going to level up our hunter. Alright, so we've got another glass lizard available. See glass lizard, take glass lizard. I'll have it replace this swipe. And continue on. It looks like it's kind of a short... It looks like it's something that I could have gone around based off where the side quest is and where this ended. It looks like it's basically a big obstacle that I could have walked all the way around if I needed to. But I'm not going to regret the decision to take the lower, safer path here. Okay. Here we have food, which I'm definitely going to buy. But before I can buy it, of course, I need to sell a bunch of stuff from my inventory. So I'm just going to sell all this cheap stuff that I'm not going to use. At least I don't think I'm going to use it. Buy the food. Here we have the Sun Staff. This is a very hard staff to use. If you thought that the Inferno Tome had a bunch of expensive cards, this has a card that costs 6. Magic attack 8. If this defeats the damage, deal 4 magic damage to all adjacent characters. Definitely a powerful card. There's one legendary item. The only reason I think this item exists is there's a legendary item that makes it so all of your cards cost 2 willpower. So if all of your cards cost 2 willpower, then Sunfire costs 2 willpower, 2 willpower, magic attack 8, that's insane. So that's basically one of the synergies you can look for late game. Definitely fun if you can get it to work. I haven't done it yet. The legendary items you get are completely random, so as far as I know. And a metal breastplate. This is an interesting armor item. It's basically... Imagine if I take my Warlord. My Warlord has a 3 armor item that just has defensive stance. I'm never using defensive stance, so I might as well hone away defensive stance and put armored advance on the armor instead. But to be honest, I'm not going to do either of those. Eventually I'm going to put a robe on my Warlord instead of heavy armor. Not the robe with prepare. There's a different robe that I want to use instead, and if I don't find it, I think I'm going to end up crafting that item. We'll just sell a couple more of these items. Get our inventory a little bit more cleaned up. Oh, there is an event here. Somebody robbed me of food. I want my food back, but I don't find the culprit. That's okay. It happens. Okay, so this is the Abandoned Settlement. This event is one I suggest everybody watch out for, especially if you have the option on to reveal outcomes. Because you would think 50% reward, 50% perk, that's good, right? 50% perk, perks are good. Our perk is selfless so far. No, perks are not all good, it turns out. The 50% chance is to get something called Fire Lung, which is a completely debilitating card that you cannot remove from your deck. So saying 50% perk here is a huge trap, and I recommend everybody just skips this event. Not ever worth the risk. As far as I know, there's no benefit to having Fire Lung, and there's a whole lot of downside. Let me quickly check if there's any equipment here I wanted to hone. One option is to start using grappling hooks again. I think I'm a little bit past the point in the game where grappling hooks are useful though, so I'm definitely, I think, not going to start using them again. I never did try out the Blackened Tome. That's okay. I don't think I'm going to start using it now, however. And yeah, so none of these are things I'm going to use. None of these items have a card I want to hone away yet, except here. I don't really want Headshot, actually. So since honing is essentially free, there's not really any downside to removing Headshot, and basically downgrading this yew longbow into a bone longbow, because the bone longbow is actually better for me right now, I think. We can still go for the side quest, but I feel like it's just gonna disappear anyway if I go for it. So I'll go back to my initial plan of heading a little bit north to places I haven't been yet and going back to the starting settlement. Actually, since I see a question mark up here that I think I'm going to head towards, maybe I will end up checking out the side quest. Just give it a shot. Anyway, we've been ambushed. We like taking fights. Fights help us prepare for the final boss. So you generally want to take all the fights, even if they're a little bit tough, like this one. Here we have 4 archers, so they're going to rain arrows upon us. Because of this, I want my warrior to be in front a little bit to body block. Of course, I want summons in front to body block as well. Playing Goad, since it's our starting power here. Drew Battle Stance, which I might hang on to for next turn. I will be walking, I think, away, and then playing the Glass Lizard here. So here it should block my hunter from all the angles I think are likely, hopefully. And it should also be close enough next turn to attack someone. So I like this positioning for the Glass Lizard. Part of the question is whether to play Encourage this turn. I think I will. I'll play Stalk first, since Stalk is less painful to have knocked off, and it always removes the first power you play before the second power you play. So Stalk first, and then Encourage. And so I will recycle Show the Way to play Encourage. I will recycle Intimidate to walk my warrior in front of the warlord, and then block. and keep the battle stance in hand for next turn. So it might look like, hey, we're going to get hit by a bunch of arrows this turn. I think the worst that's going to happen is the Glass Lizard dies. But I think there's actually a good chance that the Glass Lizard will survive, because the melee and range resistance is really a significant factor in keeping these summons alive. See, it says it does 2 damage. Well, it attacked me, so it only does 2 damage. Alright, so it looks like Warrior is going to lose Goad, maybe. Maybe not. But the Glass Lizard did indeed stay alive. Very happy about that. I hung on to Battle Stance so I can play it now. And now, we will try and go off by first recycling these 2 cards and playing Rally for additional energy. From Rally, we want to play Alertness, draw 2 cards. And we will start first playing the Husk, and then going for these combos. So I've already used all the energy that came from recycling, so I can't take it back and move my Hunter 1 forward to again put the Husk in melee range without consuming a Show the Way charge. So slight misplay perhaps. And we will use a Husk that I put here. The positioning is a little bit awkward, unfortunately, for Show the Ways. Yeah, in fact, it makes me realize that I do want to play Show the Way first, so that I can get the Warlord, say, all the way up here. With the Warlord all the way up here, I can then move the Hunter down here and play the Husk in melee range to the enemy bandit. Then I can move forward with the Glass Lizard and attack. And I'll use one more Show the Way. Or... yeah, okay. I'll use one more Show the Way to... it'll put myself a little bit in harm's way, but I think I'm going to be doing some redraws to try and make this a little bit of a mega turn, if you will. So, instead of playing Show the Way now, I think it's a little bit better to redraw. If I'm planning on redrawing, now is the time, because it lets me redraw 3 cards instead of 2. And I've got a lot of Show the Ways in my deck. I can use them whenever I want. So Alertness draws me 2 cards. Now, I'm going to redraw again. So Selfless will draw me Leadership. It will also get rid of Stock, but I think that's not the end of the world here. And I'm happy to see Rally being drawn by the Hunter, and I'm very happy to see Tackle being drawn by the Warrior, because I think I'll try and get the Tackle onto these 2 guys, so that these 2 guys are neutralized for the next turn. But what should I discard to play Rally? I'm thinking I'll discard Rally and defend. Or, okay, I had a different thought. So instead of doing all of that, I'm going to discard this Rally, play Leadership, and now Show the Way. with this Show the Way, we can defeat this banded fighter right now and put this husk into position around this banded archer. We can also start getting our warrior up here, and you notice we're also gaining energy by playing Show the Way. Now I move my warlord. Now there's a little bit of calculation involved. The question is whether or not I can finish off this banded archer this turn, or whether I want to commit some resources to doing it. Because right now with these cards I cannot finish off the banded archer. So instead I'm going to retreat a little bit to, I guess, centralize my warlord, and I'll let my lizard come in and do a combo attack with the banded archer. This banded archer doesn't have any valid range targets, though unfortunately I'm going to have to give it one right now. So we move the warrior forward here. We move it forward one more spot. We play Intimidate, which weakens all the enemies. We move forward here, which means that these two guys can't really attack productively. Move my hunter into safety a little bit more. Defend on my warrior since it's a valid target and can actually take damage. And we're not going to use this rally after all. So we're not really going off with our warlord yet. I think in order to make that happen, I'm going to just make a few more little optimizations to the deck. It's not really an issue right now. We're still far more powerful than we need to be to take on these sorts of fights. These fights are all no problem for us. Let's go ahead and Wide Sweep is definitely interesting, 9 damage. But I think it's a little bit more fun to win with aggression, so I'm going to win with aggression here. Definitely want to Show the Way. And then of course I'm in range of the leadership buff, so I do more damage now. I can just walk back and forth, you know? And so that is basically going to be the fight. Take care of this guy real quick, and then Show the Way. And Showing the Way basically just lets me walk. I get to walk. I get to walk again. Or, well, first I'll recycle. I'll Show the Way again, let these guys walk forward, and finish off this dude. Let me walk forward here, and then Shield Bash. These are the sort of turns, sort of turn 3s that this deck tends to have late in the game. Super fun to play. If you want to give it a shot, I totally recommend doing something like this. Yeah, definitely a viable way to play the end game on Cataclysm 2. And probably higher difficulties, but problem is you can't get through the early game on higher difficulties. So if you can't get through the early game, you definitely can't do this sort of thing in the late game. I think Warlord, I'm pretty happy with the Warlord's deck right now, so I'll start with the Warriors deck. Once again, no copy of Bulwark. Bit disappointed about that, but it's okay. I'll replace one of my tackles with an Intimidate instead. And as I said before, I'll head up to these question marks. Try and see a little bit how far away the the side quest is. It's looking like it's really far away, so not going to do it. This, I have an option to be a nice guy and give them food for a small chance of food in return. No, not worth the risk. This looks like another town. Hopefully it has a shop. It does, which has 3 food. We're at the point of the game where I might as well just buy all the crafting resources since I've got so much gold. These are not items I care about at all, so now I'll continue on. No other event, so head up to the next location. Alright, so this ruin is just a straight up fight. Let's get to it. Alright, it's another 6 rattling fight. Lots of cover. This bowman is kind of boxed in right now. There's no productive long shots, but I think I'm getting to the point where I'm going to remove bows from the hunter, because long shot turn 1 is starting to be less valuable than summoning turn 1, because there's 6 enemies. Going from 6 to 5 is less important than setting up the thing that'll let you kill like 10 enemies in 1 turn. So, of course I have a power, it's a good one. Gonna play aggression. For my warlord, I don't like any of the cards in this hand, so I will redraw. As for the hunter, I might redraw again actually. I'm still not very happy with this hand. Definitely quick thinking, definitely selfless. Now that I played selfless, redraws are more valuable. I can try and find the rallies in this deck. Playing this Glass Lizard isn't too important when I have 2 more Glass Lizards in my deck. I'm very much considering redrawing again on my Warlord though. Alertness, something that I'm happy to play. We have a Rally, which we can't play until we discard something. But first I'll redraw here. And play this Rally. So this is the Rally I'd rather play. Alertness is good. Leadership, probably most important power in the deck. For my warrior, I'm starting to think that I can get away with redrawing to Protector and getting Protector into play turn 1, maybe even with some block. And indeed I can. So I will move to a position which is in range of all my allies. This rally is necessary at this point. Protector, so that I can give everybody block. What I want to do is play both summons, so this will cost 7. In order to do this, I'm going to need to discard some of these Warlord cards. So Bone, Wolf, and Glass Lizard I might as well play like here. So discard this hand to play Glass Lizard. And normally I would hang on to Battle Stance, but with the enemy team having so many warriors, and I don't think damage is very important, still have 5 redraws, makes sense to me to just play the Bulwark, which blocks for my entire team for 3. All the different archers in the game have a little bit of a different identity. The Rattling Bowmen have almost no health, but they use Offensive Stance, which is a pretty durable power. It's a little bit hard to knock off, and it's cheap. They're probably the least threatening enemy archers just because they have the least damage. But they also have a... their deck is also not very good, but I think it has a few surprises, like Defensive Shot might be in the Rattling Bowman deck, which is ranged attack 3 if you're adjacent to cover defend for 4. So that can definitely be a bit scary. This turn, I have Alertness, definitely going to play that. And we can start, since we have Leadership in play, we can start playing these Show the Ways. The main decision is whether or not to play more summons this turn, but I think I have some things I would rather do than play summons this turn. Another thing that I should probably start with is redrawing into this Goad here. With Bulwark and Block in my hand, I think I will keep this and use them to defend for my whole team so that none of these guys can really do anything after I kill everybody here. And I do believe I can kill everybody here. So let's get started on that. First, if we're not playing these two cards, I will Encourage and Show the Way. One of the questions is where to go with Show the Way. I'm kind of liking here. Now I can put the Glass Lizard in the middle of everything. Glass Lizard will be the one attacking so that the Wolf can do a combo strike on the Bandit Robber. Remember that the Warrior has aggression, so the Warrior will also start dealing damage by walking around in same fashion that we've seen in previous fights. Because of this, the thing to figure out right now is how I want the Warrior to walk around. I think I'm going to start so the problem is I can't undo movement now because the movement will attack because of aggression, so I really need to plan out all the movement. The problem with that is I have to remember how many activations each of these characters have. There's no way to know, you just have to remember, which is a little bit of an issue. I do remember that my Warrior definitely has one, since it only came from Show the Way. So if I move here, I'm not in range to tackle up here, which is what I wanted to end up doing. But there's a second Show the Way, but when I play the second Show the Way, where is the Warlord going to go? That's the issue I'm having right now. What I'm thinking might have to happen is the Warlord shows the way up here, then just walks back down. I could also redraw and just hope for another Show the Way. But yeah, that feels like the least bad option to me. I can draw into a ton of movement or alertness, which is even better. Rally, unfortunately, is just going to get discarded. And now, I can afford to move my Warrior up here. Move my Warrior here. Oh, Tackle has range 4 now. I kept thinking Tackle had range 3. I forgot they buffed it. Definitely used to have range 3. Definitely a very significant buff. I will move my Hunter over here, just to be in range of the armor gaining from my Warrior, which I will do now. So now, even if I wasn't basically defeating everybody this turn, which I don't think I'm defeating everybody this turn, As in, I'm definitely not defeating everybody this turn. But they still have all of this nice block to work with. It's a little overkill. Actually, it might have been better to tackle here, now that I'm thinking about it. But I don't know. I do like the line of play I made, because this guy can still shoot here, and kind of keeps him from wanting to come down here. 11 block is enough to take care of basically everything. These guys down here, they can probably break through the armor, but they can't significantly break through the armor. So everything is okay. We're going to be rallying. Oh, first we're battle stancing. Then we're rallying. With the rally we can play alertness. And now we get to have fun with Show the Way. Alright, so that takes care of that. I didn't move this wolf up first because I want this wolf to be able to move adjacent to this bandit robber. I will show the way here. And now we can take care of this bandit robber as well. And with aggression, we'll just deal with these last couple enemies. Good fight. We have a major strength potion, mighty blow, and shield bash. Definitely good to have early, bad to have late. That's kind of a theme with most cards that give you actions that are melee attacks. Early on you want them to be able to defeat enemies faster. Later on you don't want them, because they prevent you from playing the cards that you really want to play a little bit more in your deck. Let's see what we get. Okay, Hidden Run, Bone Wolf, Take Aim, Pinning Shot, Dire Bat, Line Up. What I said about the Dire Bat, it being very squishy, now is the point in the game where I feel like you can start thinking about taking a Dire Bat, but it still has all the issues that I said it had before. Remember, every time you play a summon, all the rest cost one more. So, do you really want to be playing a Dire Bat, even though it only costs 2, to increase the cost of all of these? Even if you can protect it with Protector, which I don't think I'm quite good enough at doing yet, either. One thing I'm not really doing with my Hunter is melee attacks at this point, so I'm going to replace this last swipe with a Bone Wolf. And looks like we've got an additional additional event reward, Novice Gravity Tome, magic damage 1 in an area. Pretty good, actually, but not with any of the characters that we're running. This is one of the attacks that is really good on the Elementalist, which is like the standard caster class in this game. Now, seems like a good time to rest. We'll see if there's anything that I want to craft before we rest. One thing I'm interested in is light armor. And the light armor I want the most is probably Silk Robe. Agile is interesting if we took the Makaran armor. The first time you play a move card each turn, draw a card. This is kind of nice on the Warlord, since the Warlord always plays a move card every turn, but it also is a little bit slow. It's a card you have to play. I think the Silk Robe is going to be good enough. Quick Thinking says draw a card. The next card you play this turn costs -1 willpower. It's actually better, I think, than the Embroidered Robe. The Embroidered Robe has Walk as well, but what I want to do with the Warlord is not make my own cards cost 2 less willpower. What I want to do is play as many cards as I can in one turn. As many Show the Ways as I can in one turn. So, to that extent, the Silk Robe is something that I prefer to be crafting over the Embroidered Robe. If I had a lot of time and a lot of materials, I would craft the Embroidered Robe, then hone away the Walk, and make it into a strictly better Silk Robe because it has 1 additional armor. But I don't think I'm going to do that. So we confirm. We craft our Silk Robe because we haven't found one yet. Now we equip the Silk Robe. Another consideration that I have right now is I think it's about time to unequip the Kirsch Blade and unequip the Bone Helm and unequip the Leather Shield. I'm all the way almost naked, 2 armor, but look at this deck. So we have all these Show the Ways, we have 2 copies of Alertness, 2 copies of Quick Thinking, and a Rally. So basically all we're doing now, we don't have to worry about drawing Show the Way, we just draw Show the Way. That is our life as a Warlord at this point in the game. Ideally we have 1 more copy of Alertness, and I actually want to remove this Rally, so at some point I'm going to hone away the Rally from this deck, because the Rally is another card that isn't Show the Way and doesn't draw a card. On the other hand, the Quick Thinkings, the only thing they provide a discount to right now is Alertness, but that's okay, we have 2 Quick Thinkings, 2 Alertness. Selfless, of course, every time we play it, we take 2 unblockable damage. That fights, we hope, are not going to last that long. That is much of an issue, especially since we are all the way down to 2 armor. And now I'm a little bit regretting throwing away all my throwing away that 1 card that was 1 armor, move 1, draw a card. That is a card. That is an item I want right now because it is an equipment that gives armor, and it has a card that has no downside and draws a card when it's played. So I kind of want that right now. I might actually craft a better version of it. We will see. For now, I will head a little bit north and towards our destination. We have a lot of food, so I'll take a detour up here. I know I am extending. Just basically extending this journey a little bit. It's already gone on for so many hours, but it will be finished soon. We will fight the final boss, and we will win. This is an event I don't recognize, actually. I will wait out to the island, see what's going on. Huh. I feel like I have met this elf before. This seems like the best option. Ask her what this place is. This is the Makara Stone Circle. It was a sacred place to the Makara, a place of elves, a race of elves, who spent much of their lives near the water. Their skin was iridescent, glittering with 1,000 colors at once. The Makara and the Ninsar made up the 2 races of elves. I am something different, an Ignati, the 3rd race, who many argued were unfit to call themselves elves. We are not like our kin, most of whom proclaimed us half-elven, misshapen, or worse. Suddenly, the banshee-like wail cuts through the air again, causing Nebula to recoil. "I cannot linger here," she tells you. "The lost souls will find me. Perhaps we will meet again." With remarkable agility, she leaps down from the island, raising her palms outwards as she travels through the air. The water parts, forming a dry channel, and she lands without a sound before vanishing into the night. Wait, so now we have to find her again? That does not seem very likely. Oh well. Looks like there is kind of an ocean barrier up here, so we'll head back down south to this question mark. We have another side quest to escort, and it's in the right direction, so we may indeed finish that one. Okay. We have a shop. This shop unfortunately has a silk robe, so I'm punished for crafting it immediately. That's okay though. I'm going to again sell some of the stuff. Ooh, maybe I shouldn't have sold that, but I'm committed now. Not playing this, definitely not playing this or this. Definitely not playing Elven Longbow. Minor Speed Potion's pretty bad. So yeah, basically sold a lot of stuff now. I will take the other silk robe though, and I think I'm going to maybe put this on the hunter. I forgot what the hunter has. Maybe I should have checked. Yeah, robe. I like the silk robe better than the robe, so I'm happy to replace that one at this point. And I guess we can sell the robe, since we're definitely not using that. And continue on our way. We rest, and now that we rest, I'm going to look into crafting some bracers. Maybe I'll go for the hardened bracers for my warlord. Again, it's 2 armor, so that means I can play selfless twice without inflicting permanent damage. And it has the agile card, which I don't mind having. So I think the hardened bracers are definitely something that I'm interested in crafting here. And free food. I'm getting really fortunate with all the free food now that I don't need free food. I guess that's how the game works. Oh, I accidentally rested again. I guess I healed for 1 HP. Not a big deal. I feel like it's a little bit easy to accidentally rest in this game. It's a big button, it's right next to the button to break down camp, and there's no warning that says, "Hey, you have full stamina, do you really want to rest?" Oh well. So here I've got 2 choices. I can cut my way in through the entrance or force my way in via top. I have no idea what the rewards are for, what the difference in rewards are for these, so I'll just take the one that has a 50% chance of health damage. And continue on. I'll fight some Ozolids. Ozolids, one of the monsters roaming the lands. They tend to drop food. Always happy to fight them. Here we have 6. We're fighting lots of packs of 6 enemies at this point. But 6 enemies with 8 health each. Not a big deal. And you can start to see, hopefully, what all the changes I just made, what their impact is on how these fights are going to play out. So definitely playing our power here. We want to play one of these rallies. This lets us alertness, draw a card, draw 2 cards. Now we have agile to play, leadership. I kind of want to redraw here. Again, I'm going to redraw to try and get protector into play. Maybe I'm redrawing too many times at this point. So I'm going to stop here, and instead of protector, I'll use this rally to play meditation. I will show the way to kind of consolidate my forces a little bit. How about here? Actually, I'll have her go back so that she can head rush back into place. Remember, I played Agile, so show the way draws a card. Actually, since I've got aggression in play, I might as well wander all the way up to this Ozolid using the show the ways. So show the way, do a little bit of Ozolid damage, and then head rush back here, gain 4 block, show the way again, maybe go back here, and then finally playing Courage, and then that's turn 1. We haven't actually been playing our meditation very often, but this fight will have 2 extra energy at the start of every remaining turn. We don't have any summons in play, but we do have aggression in play on our warrior. So I think what's going to happen this game is a lot of aggression. Or this fight. And in that vein, we start with Battle Stance. We play Goad as well. Selfless is nice. Draws everyone a card. Gains me 1 willpower. Quick Step, might as well just play it now. It will draw 2 cards because of Agile. My Hunter can play Flare. I rather like a Flare play here. Quick Thinking draws a card, and we have access to a summon now, so we will play it. How about here? Now we can start playing Show the Way. So I'll show the way over here. This will let my warrior go off with aggression. And show the way down here. More aggression. Show the way back up here. We have more aggression. Show the way down here, take care, or, sorry, so now you do a little bit more aggression. Use Shield Bash, take care of that guy. Protector, walk back up. I guess I didn't even need a summon in that fight. It was all aggression. So, aggression is definitely one way to combo with Show the Way, but doing it only with aggression is a little bit fragile. Since aggression is a power, it can be knocked off of you, and it can take a while to play, but just doing aggression plus Show the Way is definitely a reasonable way to make this deck work. Here, I have an option to take all of these cards, but what I'm going to do is skip, because none of these cards I think are better than anything in my deck. So no card, all I get is 1 health, 1 redraw. And now I can continue on. We indeed can finish the side quest on the way. For this side quest, it looks like I just get food and a shop. Oh my goodness, the shop has a Dwarven Lantern. As I said, Dwarven Lantern is one of the best items in the game, something I'm always looking for, so definitely happy to buy it. Again, I'll buy the crafting materials, just at least to spend my gold. Or obsidian. Spend my obsidian. Just to get a little bit more gold, I'll sell some of the items I'm not going to use. And we'll continue on. So here we have an option to do a battle or hand over 30 obsidian. Always battle. Before we get into combat, I'm definitely going to equip that Dwarven Lantern. I'm kind of liking it on the Hunter. Hunter feels like a good place to put the Dwarven Lantern, personally. Also, I think it's about time that I removed my longbows. I no longer need longshot. Hand wraps are still okay, though I might upgrade them at some point. I could kind of go for Dragon Scale Shield, but that's silly. Metal Bracers have more armor, but worse card. So, let's go with this. Late game, often what happens is you start unequipping all of your items. This is a totally normal thing for late game in this game. Not your items, unequipping all of your weapons. Because the most efficient ways to do damage late game are generally not using your attacks from your weapons, for whatever it's worth. It's kind of funny that it works out that way, I guess thematically, but it is what it is. Start with quick thinking, and quick thinking, of course. Alertness draws some cards. Rally gives me energy. Aggression, of course. Leadership and Agile should be played. And with Agile out, I think I want to... I'm probably going to play Selfless this turn. So first, Show the Way. Yeah, I'm going to redraw first, actually. No, yes. And then Alertness. Now Quick Step draws 2 cards. Quick Thinking is great, and now I redraw one more time. So now I've been able to get everything I pretty much wanted out on turn 1. So first play Encourage using the discount here. Play Selfless. Everybody draws a card, gain 1 willpower. Alertness, draw 2 cards. Quick Step again, just free card. Quick Thinking. Another Alertness. Oh boy. This is starting to look pretty dangerous for the enemy team, if I say so myself. First, I'm going to redraw on my warrior. You notice that the warrior has aggression in play, but no battle stance, so aggression doesn't do ridiculous damage right now. So one of the options is, of course, to get battle stance in play, and then I can use all of these Show the Ways to kind of walk over here and do a bunch of stuff. Alternatively, I dig for Protector. I put down a couple summons. Use Show the Ways to make my summons useful. Maybe take out one of these guys this turn. Yeah, that's the other thing. So if I play Flare and Aggression and... You know what? Let's have fun. We'll see how many... We'll play the battle stance. We'll play Flare on some of these guys, and we won't play a summon. So we're going to start with Show the Way, just getting straight into the action. Now we can Rally and Battle Stance. Now I want to, let's see. I might want to end with Intimidate, just to reduce the amount of damage I take. So here we're going to Flare, Show the Way, make sure that I am like in range, right? show the way here. And now, warrior will start doing some damage. We'll spend a defend to walk on over here. We will show the way again. And flare here, just cause. More damage is good. Now we get rid of the block, so just walk one more spot. And we intimidate to make everybody do no damage. And I'll just like run the warrior up here. Seems kind of far away. Oh, and there's an Aurora Storm this fight. Gotta watch out for that. Yeah, the only way these guys can do damage is with goad. It's very reasonable that I take a little bit of damage here, but I've got armor, I can take it. And anyway, everybody on their team is dead next turn. So, doing some of the similar things to last turn. Draw a bunch of cards. Maybe play a Bone Wolf this time. And then we just start showing the way. I'll start with a wide sweep. I'll walk. Probably should have done that first. Whatever. Show the way. Alright, turns out I didn't need the summons. Just aggression was good enough again. The summons will definitely come into play in some future fights. Here we have the Radiant Longsword. This is yet another sword that I am not going to play, because it is a weapon late game. Once again, I will try and find a bulwark, and fail to find a bulwark. Here we see Hamstring. Hamstring is a card I don't think we've seen yet. Melee attack 4, and inflict immobilized. So immobilized means the character cannot move. For a lot of enemy characters, it essentially takes them out of the fight. The problem with Hamstring is it's melee, so if they can't move, they're not really taken out of the fight if they can attack one of your adjacent characters. So Hamstring doesn't seem too great. Damage is decent. 2 costs is quite a bit. Not something that I've ever played, so it could be a little bit better than I'm giving it credit for. Intimidate, I'm going to take yet another one. I'm going to start replacing a defend. And onwards. Again, we're gonna dig up the graves here. I think digging up the graves is much better than searching among the headstones. Again, I got the exact same helmet. That event tends to give you that helmet. So I have an interesting option here. One thing I can do now is I can put aggression also on my Warlord. So my Warlord, in addition to every single card being a movement card, also has aggression. And you know what? I'm not actually sure it's optimal, but it's fun. And fun is important. So we're going to hone away the perfect aim again and put aggression on our Warlord and try that out. In fact, we'll hone it away right now. So here's the helmet. We're going to remove perfect aim and rest. And now we take the Warlord, we equip this new helmet, and the Warlord can now do aggression shenanigans with +1 damage, so her aggressions are only going to do 1 damage. Unless the enemy is exposed, in which... 2 damage. Unless the enemy is exposed, in which case it does 3 damage. And unfortunately I never found a third flare. I would love to have a third flare, but it's okay. We've got some enemies to fight along the way. In the interest of keeping this playthrough like kind of shorter, I'm not gonna fight everything. Maybe I'll go for another event up here. Just scale the cliff, I guess. It's just gold. Now we have to fight the Osalids, probably. But I'm okay with that. We get to see double aggression in play for this fight. We will start by redrawing. Perhaps redrawing there first is not ideal, actually. First thing you want to do is try and get Selfless out. So with Selfless out, everybody draws more. So that would have been a little bit more optimal. So here we go. Agile. Leadership's not in place, so we're not going to play Show the Ways yet. I think it's okay to just get rid of block and rally, so we can rally here. Now, encourage. I'm just gonna let them go for turn 1. Stand in front and bulwark, and play a Glass Lizard. And let's discard this and say go. If you don't need to do tons of setup turn 1, I don't think. I need to spend quite so long like squeezing a little bit more value out of turn 1. This is another enemy that can walk through your enemies, so a little bit hard to keep people entirely safe from being surrounded here. We have an attack on our Glass Lizard, no big deal. Alright, so first I am going to redraw, this time, with my Warlord. It occurs to me last turn, I think I never used my Agile card draw. Whoops, that's okay. Aggression, I want to play for sure. And then I will redraw again. And Quick Thinking, great. Lets me play Leadership. Leadership, alright. So now we can flare. I'm thinking I'll flare these enemies. We'll show the way before we play a summon here. I'm just gonna do that order. Maybe lose one summon action, but not a big loss, I think. So because of aggression, the Show the Way deals 3 damage here. And because of Agile, I draw a card. Now I have Alertness, which I can play. And Selfless was something I was looking for here, which will give me 1 willpower because of Leadership. Quick Step will give me a nice aggression proc here. And 1 more Show the Way means these Osalids are finished. Now my warrior has Protector. I can use Protector to draw a card. And yeah, let's see if we can finish off all of these enemies in just this turn. I guess I should have played Bone Wolf by now, I guess. Not too bad though. Show the Way. Oh, actually, first I'm going to try and find aggression on my warrior, and of course battle stance is also important on my warrior. So we will rally and sorry, that was the wrong order. still discard this, but we're going to show the way here. That gives us the energy to play Rally, which means we can play Battle Stance. And now either I'm going to discard or play this Bulwark for block on everyone. So the first thing we do is start attacking this Ozolid. This should just be 2 attacks here. I'll go ahead and just play the Bulwark. I don't think I'm finishing in this turn. Except for this guy. Oh wow. Alright, so we couldn't quite defeat everybody. He left 1 out of 6 Ozolids alive. He can not really do anything, so not worried. Actually just ran away. Actually just ran. Meditation is useless because we're about to win. So yeah. Let us get in here. Alright, a good fight. 3 turns is probably the length that most of these fights are going to be. Another Cleaver, Bone Helm, Obsidian coins. Nothing useful. We will hope for another Flare, but not get one. So, in the absence of Flare, we will Lizard. Absence of Flare, we will Lizard. Now, see, we've already visited this stuff, so, and these guys are kind of annoyingly in the way, so we'll take one last fight before the final boss. Then we'll visit a town, we'll do everything I want to do to hone my deck into what it needs to be for the final boss, and then we'll fight, and that will be Trials of Fire. Alright, so Selfless and starting hand, play it before leadership this time. Quick Thinking into Rally seems good here, followed by Quick Thinking into Alertness. All great stuff. Leadership is going to be played, and then I'm going to redraw, since I don't want to play these 2 cards. I'd much rather play an Alertness and draw more. In fact, I don't want to play these either, so I'm going to redraw again. Agile looks good. Quick Thinking, Aggression, and I'm basically set for turn 1 on my Warlord. Now on my Warrior, we're playing Protector, and for this battle, I think I'm going to use Protector to try and block quite a bit. Definitely getting a Glass Lizard out. We'll put the Glass Lizard kind of in front a little bit. Let the Glass Lizard help block with my Warrior here. Show the Way is going to draw a card, gain 1 energy. Definitely playing that. And Courage is, I guess, the last card I was looking for. Now I'm out of cards for the Warlord, but I played 4 powers and drawn everybody else 1 card, so definitely worth it. Alright, I'm going to use the first movement to run backwards so that I can head rush for a little bit more defense. And defend 1 more time, and just discard these 2 cards for just 2 more defense. And I'll keep both flares, since I like having them. Alright, we'll see if we can win this fight in 2 turns, but it'll probably be 3. Sleep Dart is the scariest card that the Charred Skirmisher has. It shuffles a Fatigue into your deck if it's not blocked, and it does much more damage than their other attacks. So it's often the case that you'll get some Fatigues shuffled into your deck when you're playing as playing against the Charred Skirmishers. Okay. We will kick it off with aggression on the warrior. I want to get Battle Stance into play here. So I'm going to dig for it a little bit. Can't play it yet, so I'll start by showing the way and putting my Warlord deep into enemy territory here. I think I'm going to stick with 1 summon and just use the flares instead. So here we have Show the Way up top. Actually, Head Rush would have been better. I should have played Head Rush, would have given me the block I wanted to block the Charred Cultist retaliation damage, and it would have also gotten me right next to the Charred Skirmisher instead of 1 away. So, slight misplay, I think. It's still going to be totally fine. We'll play Bulwark instead to give our Warlord some of the block that she wants. Show the Way to get... basically start dealing with these dudes. Quick Step to continue dealing with these dudes. Take 1 retaliation damage here because of the Cultist. 1 more Show the Way. Can attack all of these. We will... let's go ahead and flare so the last 2 enemies are exposed here. Show the Way down 1 more. And last but not least, we've got... actually, we'll save the Head Rush for now. On this side of things, definitely going to Battle Stance and Goad. This is going to... ooh, unfortunately, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm still actually out of range of the Warlord. That's a little bit suboptimal, but still, 2 attacks are going to take that out. And now I can head up here, and I'll just let my Glass Blizzard finish off this enemy. And I did not keep any energy for Head Rush, so I guess that was a misplay. Should have also put the Glass Blizzard up here. It's okay. It's not really a misplay since it doesn't affect the outcome of the fight in any possible way. So... because after all, we still just need to block a little bit to take care of the last enemy. Okay, so that was the last fight I was planning on doing before the final boss in this run. Again, we're not going to replace any of the cards in our deck. What we are going to do is step over to this town. It has another silk robe. I forgot this had a silk robe, so we're missing all the silk robes. Don't really want a silk robe on the warrior since I do value the battle stance right now. And I think Bone Claymore maybe is going to come out now. The last fight is against a single enemy, so Aggression's AoE effect is going to be a little bit less relevant. We're going to be doing a lot more ganging up with summons for this very last battle. And you will see what it is soon. Alright, so my warrior is missing an equipment slot, and maybe I can upgrade these hand wraps too. So one thing that you might as well do right before the final battle is you just rest as many times as you want, take all the campfire actions you want to get the deck that you want. One interesting thing that I just thought I might do is craft the Astral Tome. So the Astral Tome gives you some of the stuff from the Summoner battle. So one of the powers it gives you is Summoner. All your summons have +1 action each turn. Draw Strength, defend 3 per friendly summon character. It's the only way, I think, to get those 2 cards. Maybe Draw Strength is in a different item. And it gives you Mad Soul, which is the worst summon. This item seems like it would be good for our build, but I think it's actually something we don't want to take. Draw Strength is kind of a wasted card on our Hunter right now. Summoner is nice, but it costs 2 to get 1 action on just the summons. That's way less efficient than like anything that the Warlord does instead, you know? The other books aren't really something I'm interested in. It looks like I can craft some rare equipment. There's one good rare equipment that I think I'm going to craft, indeed. It is the Major Clarity Potion. So the Major Clarity Potion has Quick Thinking and Alertness, which are exactly cards that I want on everybody. So this is what I'm going to spend my resources on, and the last item I'm going to craft this game. Next, we can hone some of the equipment that we want to use. First of all, I'm going to put the Clarity Potion on my warrior, and the only things I really feel like honing right now, I could probably hone away the Shield Bash. It's a great card against bosses though, so I don't need to. For the Dwarven Lantern, what I'm probably going to do is hone away the Rally for the Warlord. So the Warlord, the Rally is a card that I can draw that it's basically just worse than Show the Way. If you think about Show the Way, it gives 1 energy for 0, and it moves, and basically does like 10 damage. Rally doesn't do that, it just gives me a little bit of willpower. So, not really a fan of having Rally in the Warlord's deck anymore, so I'm going to permanently remove it. And I might just look over, I don't think there's really anything I want to craft. All my characters are full health. I even have 5 healing herbs, just in case. You can't use those in combat, so they're basically just wasted now. The only way to use these would be to go wandering around, but I think I'm about ready for this run to end. So what I'm going to do is break camp and head back to my settlement, where I will start the final boss battle. So we're excited, the journey is finally over, but there's a huge dragon here. And before we can save our settlement, we're definitely going to have to defeat this dragon. So just one more time, going over the final deck for all of my characters. For my warrior, I have Mithril Shield, which gives me Protector, Shield, Bash, Block. Very important. You can see that my class deck, I've mostly gone for defense and weakened. And I also grabbed a Major Clarity Potion just for the ability to have alertness and quick thinking, which improves any deck. Every deck wants alertness and quick thinking, as far as I'm concerned. Now we have the Warlord. Warlord is running the Dwarven Helm, which is honed to remove the card that does not move or do anything I want. This item is a little bit unnecessary. I don't really need to be running aggression on my warlord. Actually, for the boss fight, it would probably be better for me to remove aggression from the deck, because we're not dealing with these groups of enemies. Actually, yeah, I'm going to take off the Dwarven Helm for the final boss. I don't think it's very useful for this battle. Because aggression, it's a little bit of damage, but it slows down my setup on turn 1. Head Rush is a card that is not show the way. That's basically what it comes down to. Head Rush isn't alertness, it isn't show the way. So I don't really want to draw Head Rush. And then finally for my Hunter, I have a Silk Robe, which gives me quick thinking. Basically the best armor I found for him. Hand Wraps, a little bit better than the Metal Bracers, because I don't really want either of these cards on this character. So Walk is still useful though, because I've got a lot of expensive cards to play. I need to get out my summons. I might want to play Meditation at some point. And Nebulous Star, of course, gives me 1 willpower every turn, which is mainly what it's here for, but also having 2 rallies and Meditation is great. The downside is every time I take damage, I take 1 additional damage. Let's be honest, the Hunter has barely taken damage this whole run since getting Nebulous Star. So this fight is one where it's very likely that he will take damage, so you might see that downside coming into play here. But with good luck, this fight is going to be very fast. Alright, Red Dragon. On this difficulty, it has 100 HP. I think it had exactly 100 HP last time I faced it too. I remember because it's a very nice round number. And now we need to plan our turn 1. So we have a few decisions to make, but before we make any decisions, we might as well play Quick Thinking, Alertness. Might as well get this... Oh, not yet. Maybe not play the Battle Stance yet, because it makes it harder to play a rally. Except, actually, that doesn't matter, because my Warlord doesn't have rally anymore. So let's go ahead and play the Battle Stance. Play the Quick Step and draw a card. I definitely want to get at least 1 summon out. I don't think I'm going to play Meditation this turn. So instead I will use the Meditation and block willpower to play Rally. So with Rally in play, I can play both of these powers and start redrawing to do basically what this deck does. So we use Selfless, draws everybody else a card, gain 1 energy with Leadership. Quick Thinking lets us play Agile. Now we can redraw again, but first I'll play Quick Thinking up here. Tackle and Intimidate are 2 cards I want to play against the Red Dragon. Red Dragon, definitely taking 2 less damage from everything it does is... or the first 3 things it does is going to be relevant. Actually, but I might not play Tackle and Intimidate this turn. We'll see. We'll see how like all these summons end up working out. Because what I really do want to do is get Protector into play and maybe get a little bit of block going. So to that effect, I'm going to be redrawing here. I'm going to move, which draws a card from Agile, so that this Show the Way doesn't get shuffled if I redraw, because I am about to redraw. And now Quick Thinking draws another card. Unfortunately, Selfless is going to take away leadership, but I think it's worth it just to get a little bit more power out of our turn 1 here. And I think this might be the last redraw here. So Quick Thinking, Alertness, Quick Thinking. Okay, so now we can go to the Hunter. We'll go ahead and move him forward a little bit. And what I want to do is play a Glass Lizard and a Bone Wolf. So first I'll show the way no longer gives energy, willpower, because we don't have leadership in play. That's actually... I maybe should have held off on playing that until I could have played some of these Show the Ways, because that'll definitely make it much more awkward to get both of these Bone Wolves out. But first I'm going to show the way about... Okay, never mind. So first I'm going to redraw on my warrior, because what I want is to start... Actually, never mind. We'll be Bulwark and Intimidating on our warrior this turn, but we won't have Protector out. I think that's the compromise I'm going to make. Alright, so first we take out the Glass Lizard. And then Flare won't get played. We are not playing... Actually, I guess I'm not playing Bulwark after all. So instead, we're going to get Bone Wolf out, and then the rest of these actions are going to be spent on Show the Way. So we're going to just start getting some damage in, basically. So here we have 1. Here we have 2. I said the rest of the actions, but really I want some energy available for Intimidate, so we're going to do that. My Hunter, I'm going to run away a little bit now that his job of getting close enough to summon is done. And now we're going to hope that some useful stuff survives. So his trait here is Fire Breath. At the start of each turn, he shoots a cone of fire. Weakened did reduce the enemy, the damage from that significantly. One of the big cards he has in his deck as well is Fireball. It costs 4 willpower and deals 3 magic damage and burning to all characters in the area. So definitely a scary dude. Does a lot of damage. And now that the first summon ended up dying here. Interesting. Did I lose? Alright, I don't... Oh yeah, that worked properly. Sorry, I thought it didn't draw an extra card. So, first we do this. Encourage only has 1 left, so I think I'll hold off on Selfless, at least for the time being. My warrior, I'm not really happy with... basically what my warrior wants to do here is get Protector into play, and then defend for a lot. So that's the warrior's plan here. I think Alertness has to be played. Okay, finally we get Leadership back into play. So Leadership, very important here. I'm going to try and bring my Warlord all the way around here. So with my Warlord up here, it can participate in these combo attacks. Walking here is good. I might as well draw a card. Okay, so I think only one of these summons is getting played this turn, and between the two of them, I think it should be the Bone Wolf. Because the Bone Wolf does additional combo attack damage, and the Red Dragon does a lot of magic damage, which ignores the Glass Lizard's resistances. So we're going to recycle the Glass Lizard, which lets us play Alertness here. Great, so I don't really care about these two powers right now. It's very hard to make them useful where the Red Dragon is at the moment. So we're going to at the very least, we're going to, for now, get rid of Aggression and the other power, Goad, in order to play the Bone Wolf right now. Now that the Bone Wolf is in play, we can use Show the Way to start generating some energy here. So I'm going to stop right here for now. So now we've got a lot of attacks available for this on this Red Dragon. One flare available here. So while I still have some bonus damage available from the Warlord leadership, I'm going to do some of these attacks. Alright, so now I play Selfless. And because I played Selfless, I lose Encourage. But instead of playing these Show the Ways, I'm going to redraw. Because double Alertness will give me 2 more Show the Ways to play. Or something. 2 more of something to play. Alright. And then down here, what I'm going to do with this additional card is I'm going to redraw and try to get to a copy of Flare. Alright, Alertness is great. And here's Flare. So now with Flare, I think we're in a good position to finish this combat now. I'm hoping, at least. If not, then we're done next turn, so no huge loss. But one thing worth thinking about is doing one more redraw. That can let me get Encourage in play again. Alright, we're doing it. So, play Alertness. Play one more copy of Selfless. We'll take out Agile. That's no big deal. Now, Quick Thinking and Encourage. So now everybody does extra damage again. We Quick Step. Yeah, Quick Step. Draws a card anyway. Oh, Agile. We replaces itself, I suppose. Now Alertness. Oh, we're really going off. Selfless again. Can we play it? Yes. So Selfless one more time. Show the way. Show the way. Show the way. And now we have about, I don't know, probably over 100 damage to do. Imagine if we could surround the red dragon by even more characters, with even more characters. We would have, like, maybe 2 more, or even 3 more with 1 more summon, combo attack damage with each of these hits. Alright, so that's the dragon on turn 2. And this has been Trials of Fire. After you defeat the dragon, you hand over the water stone that you went through all of this trouble recovering, and everybody's happy, and water starts to flow again, and everything's fixed. And there we have it. Here is a victory in Trials of Fire on Cataclysm 2 difficulty, using the warrior, the warlord, and the hunter, and running sort of a summon aggression, like activation combo attack damage sort of build. Definitely something that is a lot of fun to get working. It's just like 1 turn of setup, if even that, and then you just go completely off. It's amazing. So, for all of those that stuck with me the whole time, thank you for watching, and feel free to give this game a shot. I bought it for the Steam sale, and definitely been enjoying it quite a bit.